New Libertarian Weekly and the magazine and stuff like
Okay,
that.
just a little background here. In 1974 and 1975, when Sam was first coming up with the strategy of counter-economics and the roots of agorism, I organized two conferences called CounterCon, and Sam spoke at both of them. Robert Lefebvre spoke at the second one. We had people talking about um, resistance to various different aspects of the state, talking about trading in gold. And remember that prior to 1974, owning gold in the United States was still illegal. Gold and bullion was illegal. And that went back to the FDR administration. So legalizing gold was a hot issue when I first started writing alongside Knight. And by the time it was published, gold had been once again made legal again by an act of Congress.
And you had the Vietnam War, you had the oil shortages.
Oil shortages, absolutely. You had the anti-war movement, and so there was a lot of revolutionary noise going on at the time. And so when Sam first started publishing NYU Libertarian Notes, later New Libertarian Notes, he was dealing a lot with these issues. And of course, you had a lot of the breakaways from Ayn Rand, the Nathaniel Branden Institute people after NBI was abolished and broken up in 1968 because of the split between Rand and the Brandons. A lot of those people, and there were a lot of them in New York, basically started being affiliated with the libertarian movement in New York, and then in 1972, when the Libertarian Party was formed, a lot of them started aligning with the Libertarian Party. And a lot of Sam's early activism was, and you might say that this was the roots of agorism also, was basically seeing the Libertarian Party as a stalking horse for the state into the Libertarian movement, as a way of trying to take the energy that the Libertarian movement had as purely a movement to change people's ideas, and then once getting into politics, it was getting into that strategy again, in which all the incentives favored the state, and none of the incentives favored freedom or liberty. And so Sam started a radical caucus, and right at the point when, after working a few years, he was ready for the radical caucus to take over the Libertarian Party, he walked away. And many people, for years and years afterward, never forgave Sam for that. Never forgave his attacks on what he termed the Kochtopus, where he saw that because the Koch brothers were heavily involved in supporting the Libertarian Party, he saw that as a way of trying to once again co-opt the Libertarian movement.
Okay, now Jason, the same person asked about the arbitration, says, do you think it's better to vote third party to show you want change, or do you believe in not voting? For myself, I would say I gave $100 to Ron Paul on November 5th, a few years back. I didn't vote for him. I don't vote for anybody. I never vote. Neil, I think, has voted on.
All right. Well, let me answer for myself. Repeating the question again is, do I think that voting or third party has any place? It's not. Look, it's not going to achieve a political victory in the sense of being able to repeal any of the laws or regulations directly. Okay. What it can do is it can act as trial balloons, as sort of like a finger in the wind to let people who do pay attention to politics to know where popular will is. In other words, we know that a large percentage of people who are eligible to vote don't register to vote, or even if they do register to vote, they don't vote. Okay, and it's regularly attributed to apathy. But really, what it can also be attributed to is a feeling that an understanding that it's futile, that it's not going to achieve that result. So I, in fact, gave money to the Ron Paul campaign. I was a member of the Nye County Republican Committee and a delegate for Ron Paul to the nominating convention in our local county. Of course, I voted for Ron Paul in that setting, and so I don't think that there's any great crime in participating in politics, so long as you understand that that power comes through selling out. and if you don't sell out, you're not going to really get anywhere within the system. However, if it's a way of getting people, of meeting people who have these same ideas, and then drawing them into more fruitful activities such as agorism, I think that there's really nothing wrong with that.
Now, in the 80s, Sam founded the Agora Institute and had lectures in Long Beach, and actually lived there. You want to talk about that at all?
Actually, all right. Kent has asked me about the Agora Institute. The Agora Institute is largely Sam from offices pretty much in Long Beach, holding lectures, holding talks, and publishing journals on various different topics, such as revisionist history.
New isolationist.
Yeah, New Isolationist, which was largely on revisionist history, which is basically
and peace from all sides.
Yeah, right. Basically, and one of the things which Sam was doing, which also tied in, was the movement for the libertarian left. What Sam thought to do was try to show a lot of people who had pro-peace politics why libertarian theory and libertarian economics are actually more likely to achieve this than allying with Marxists and neo-Marxists.
Yeah, that was kind of like his student thing. Oh, I want to say something about TMLL. I had a column in there called Tactics. I had 3 columns in there in different issues. One of which was about spread spectrum. To just echo back to my Friday talk. Okay.
Right. Yes. Kent gave a talk on Friday in which he was
1986.
Yeah. So I mean, look, a lot of our ideas we've been talking about for a real long time. Computer encryption through public key is something we were all using.
Oh, and you got it to work. You use it in business before PGP.
Okay, before PGP, Kent and I and wasn't Chuck also involved in this for us?
Well, Chuck, I learned about it from Chuck. So we owe Chuck Hamill.
This is Chuck Hamill.
Crossbows the cryptography is his most famous.
Look, he basically told us about our RSA encryption, which was public key encryption, and we actually used RSA actually wrote an app for us, an application, which we used for SoftServe, which provided a digital signature and a way of checking a digital signature, so that you could know that a book we published was from us. And this was our strategy, so we didn't have to feel that we had to have all sorts of copy protection schemes and all sorts of really annoying sorts of things with dedicated readers and that sort of thing. We figured if we simply published something and put a digital signature on it so that it was from us, there would be a marked distinction between something from us and something which came from any third party through open source or something like that. So this was our way of basically saying that if we publish something, it's from us because we have a digital signature on it. And RSA actually wrote us an app. I think we were the first company to have an RSA app for a digital signature for literary works. I mean, it had been used in banking and that sort of thing, but we were the first one to apply it to commercial publishing.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
that was on BBS's. It wasn't the internet.
Right. This was before the internet on BBS's, and then a few years later, of course, we had PGP and the internet, and everything changed.
And now anarchy is victorious because of encryption. Oh wait, not quite.
No, not quite yet. Look, technology tends to be fairly neutral in these struggles. As I say, both hiders and seekers can use it. Both chasers and chasees can use it. And so I don't believe that John Galt's secret radio and secret motor and that sort of thing is going to be the key to winning this particular struggle, although we'll take all we can get.
Yeah. They're fun in any case for all sides.
That's right.
They're fun toys for us all.
That's right.
Oh, and then the last days of Konkin in Vegas, and you found him, I guess, or you identified his body.
Well, we don't need to get into those gruesome details.
Well, just to say.
Yeah, but in any event, I was basically probably associated with Sam longer than, I'm continuously longer than just about anybody. First met him toward the end of 1972, and I was with him until his passing in. And it was 2004.
February 23rd.
Yes, February 23rd. Always the 23 in 2004. And I'm looking over at the clock, and I see that we're at 3:55, and so I think I'm going to say that that we're done. Thank you all very much. How do I stop this thing?
Just hit the stop. There's a little stop square there.
Would somebody come over? That would be you, and stop this.
Okay. Sure.
Stop this. How do I
stop this crazy thing?
Stop this crazy Jane.
Okay. Goodbye, all.